Hello.
Well, anyway, welcome back to our Monday night or Monday evening shows.
Ooh.
I'm Stoner.
And I'm Lush.
But today I'm being a little lushy myself. So
We all get there.
I just wanted to start out by saying two things before we dive into our topic today. My dog Frankie passed away suddenly. She collapsed, and I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Frankie. I love you so much, and I miss you so much. My dog, she was one of the best dogs ever, and it
Oh.
really still really cuts me up about it. But I wanted to say that first and foremost. I love you. I'll always have you in my heart. And the second one, okay, I went to go see the Strangers Chapter 1 movie. People. And we were 15 minutes late, no less. Don't, just don't. Because let me break it down for you in a few sentences. It's just like the first and second one. So unless chapter 2 is going to be freaking amazing and mind blowing, no, you're getting the same fucking story, different actors, same setting, except for the fact that this new Jason movie that's coming out or show or whatever, the Friday the 13th, you can't tell me that if you watch The Strangers Chapter 1, it was not giving you Friday the 13th vibes. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. Because gosh dang it, it had all of the elements in there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go any further because I could keep going. I'm not gonna keep going because it ticked me off.
Yeah.
I mean, I like The Strangers the first, even the second movie was pretty good, but no.
Yeah. Now they're just
No.
gonna rehash it out the same way.
Exactly.
Boring.
Yeah, just a tad, just a little bit. And they give you a
Yeah.
little teaser into chapter 2, and it's like, of course it. But anyway, today we are going to talk about 90s stuff. Anything
Everything 90s. Absolute 90s.
because we thought it was such a great idea because when you grow up, you will miss the old days. And it does get to be like, when everyone's like, well, back in my day. Yeah, everybody gets like that.
Yeah.
So it's always good.
True.
Most of all, respectful to just be quiet and listen to their story and their struggle and what they had to go through. I myself am not like that. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But anyway,
Yeah.
in the 90s, there was some
In the 90s. So, where do we begin? I mean, geez, the 90s was such a different time.
it was.
Really, like everything was different. The way you watched movies, the way you listened to music, the way you watch TV, everything was
Every
the way the internet was
Oh my
completely different.
god, the internet was
Yeah,
terrible. Was it not terrible?
it was the
It was
worst.
awful. You were like maybe gonna get on after hearing like, then maybe you had a prayer if it stayed on and didn't drop you just like that. And
Yeah, and you'd have to
phone,
hope that no one would pick up the phone
yeah, you couldn't be on the phone.
while
Yeah.
being on the internet. Even if you did, you were kicked off. If you were downloading a song a song would take like 5 hours to download. And you could be halfway through it, and if someone picked up that phone, boom,
Yeah.
instant droppage.
Yeah. It was between all of the things that everyone used between LimeWire, Kazaa, whatever the fuck else there was.
Napster, yeah. Yeah.
There was so many implements into trying to get an awesome mixtape on a CD. Like you just tried to be
Yeah.
this one, like I got this song, I downloaded it off of Napster.
Yeah, like, it took me hours, but,
So
I got
bad.
it, you know? I got that new track, yeah. Uh,
Speaking of, what about all the Columbia houses and all the mail
yeah,
services?
CDHQ, and
Oh my
yeah,
mail-in services.
10 CDs for 10 cents. Yeah.
What was it? Columbia House and something else. There was like two mail-in things against each other. It's like Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah,
You know?
the one I used was, I think, called CDHQ or something like that, or CDQH or something. Um, my brother always used Columbia House, and I used the other one
Yeah.
for some reason. But they would just randomly send you stuff too,
Yeah.
and if you opened it, you technically had to buy it. But I bet you everybody still owes Columbia House
Who
money.
still owes Columbia House? Raise your hand in the comments. No shame, no shame. It's like
Right?
Buster. It's not
Yeah.
a thing anymore.
And Netflix, well, geez, Netflix was you know, you'd make your order of what movies you wanted, and they'd mail them to you, and then you'd watch them, and then you mail them back to them.
Right. I
That was such
actually
a
like
different
that
Netflix.
concept. I love
Yeah.
that concept. I thought that was a bomb thing to do, and they should have kept doing it because they had so many movies that you couldn't find anywhere else. They
Yeah.
had it. But of
Yeah.
course now they ain't got crap with these fucking dubbed over, like, I don't care. Make me read the subtitles. I'm already not paying attention anyway because your lips are not saying what you're really saying. So I might as well
Yeah.
just not pay attention and watch it twice, mind you, because most of the ones that look really super duper good, like the horror movies and TV shows and stuff, oh my god, they're all in a different language. And it's like, okay, fine. I don't mind that. I can totally read. It just means I'll have to watch it several times.
Yeah.
Don't give me that. It's coming now. Don't do that.
Coming. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Um,
the
but yeah, like, or I mean, this is the '90s was so you had it was your transition from VHS and cassette tapes to CDs and
right.
DVDs. Um, and I mean, I still remember, I mean, I still have cassette tapes and I still have VHS tapes, and people don't understand the struggle that you can't just put a movie in and just instantly press play. You got to make sure that thing's rewound. If you want to get through the coming attractions, you have to fast forward. Um, there was no skipping straight to things. But then when DVDs came out, it was like, you don't have to do any of that. You can just press play. It's amazing. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
Or when you're listening to a cassette and the tape player eats the tape and you have to take it out and take a pencil and turn the thing to get it all back in there and hope it doesn't rip on you. Yeah, the struggle was real, people. The struggle was real. So when MP3 players first came out, that was a big game changer too,
Yeah.
you know?
It was such a different time when you had a cassette. It was like, oh man, that was like the next thing. And then you saw these big, long, like rectangular boxes, and it's like, what the hell's that? Oh, that's a CD. What the hell's a CD? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Like, it's just completely different. But
right? Being able to skip songs automatically, like, you used to have to fast forward, rewind through the tape to find the song you wanted. Side A, side B, you'd have to flip it over just to hear the second half of the album.
you couldn't hear it again. Yeah. I mean, it's work. Rewind, forward, play. Damn it. That's not the part.
Yeah, I missed it. Um, yeah.
But even back,
Oh my
I would
goodness.
take like those recordable tapes, like the Maxell tapes, like you make the mixtapes on
Yeah, yeah,
my own thing, kind of like this. And I would just put like, I'd put music like into it, and then I cut to me, and I'd be like do like these really funny things. But that was like the time when you had like the boom boxes with the detachable speakers. Sometimes,
yeah,
you were cool. You got the two tape deck, and then the radio, which was still relevant, and then you had the CD player on top usually, and sometimes you had a record player if you were like really like into it.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
God, it was just so hello.
Hello, Todd. Um, and don't get me okay. Everyone who ever bought the CD player Walkman, they always said anti-skip.
Figure it out, okay? Don't worry.
They were never anti-skipped.
Oh
They
my
were
god, no, it was
skip, skip, skip.
no,
You know?
no. That and I have to go. Maybe this is more like like in the 2000s era because some things are very fine line between 99 and 2000s. Like I was watching
That's yes.
Jawbreaker the other night and I'm like, damn, I don't know. I think this is 2000s. It was 1999 it came out. It had like the clothing, the shininess, the glitter, the hair, like the shoes and everything. It
Yeah,
was so funny. And I'm just like, okay, I was so close, but there's such a fine line between that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But speaking of 90s
And yeah.
being 90s, Days to Confuse is great, Hackers is great. What's another great 90s film? I'm drawing a blank right now.
I mean, classic like I guess also transitioning from late 80s into 90s, action films were much different back then, I found.
No, true.
Um,
That's true.
you had a lot of you know, you have your big name runners up, that would be the biggest action stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Steven Seagal, Van Damme, all those guys. All the guys that you see in Expendables were all big stars back then,
Yeah.
for action films. Big Lebowski, that was a great movie as well.
Marilyn
Um,
Manson was in Jawbreaker. That is a little scary, but yes, because he was
yeah,
um Rose McGowan at the time.
yeah,
Big
he was
Lebowski
dating her. That's right.
is a great film. I'm gonna have you gonna have a day Wednesday, baby. Woo! Like it is
Yeah,
so freaking funny, and I just love how John Goodman just freaks out. Jesus Christ on it! Like it's always
yeah,
a fucking like what was that? The only thing I could do without, and this just happens to be the whole sole purpose, like mostly of like the beginning of the movie. Tara Reid, goodbye. I don't care about you. Cut off all of her toes. Claw off your fucking foot. I don't care.
yeah,
Dude, The Craft. Oh my god,
yeah. Craft.
dude. The
And I
Craft.
mean, then Scream came out not long after
Yeah,
that,
Scream
and
was 96 as well. The
yeah,
Craft and Scream. Oh my gosh, those were my things. You have no idea. I
right.
love, my interest in, the whole pagan and witchcraft era that's sparked from The Craft, and it is very good. And we've covered that. I'm not going to go all over it again, but we did cover that.
Yeah.
So go back and look for that. I think it was in my top favorite 90s movies. But oh my gosh, it's just like I remember seeing the trailer for it. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. But like I wasn't allowed to watch it like that. So I
Right,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. But when it came out and it was free on one of those like Cinemax Showtime like weekends you'd get it for free on
Yeah,
the weekends. Kind of like the
right,
Disney Channel. You get it for free for a weekend or maybe like a couple days during the week to see if you liked it.
right, yeah,
Yeah. Well, she was my favorite because she was just here I am, it is what it is. So
yeah.
and I liked
But the other thing about 90s is, you know, watching TV, you had to wait for it to air on TV that night, and if you didn't see it, you hope that one of your friends taped it. That's with a VHS tape,
Oh
because
my
they're not gonna play it again on TV for a while, and you didn't know when you'd get to see it again.
god.
And you couldn't fast forward through commercials or anything. There was no skip button.
There was no
You
binge. There was
yeah,
and if it was a holiday, you had to wait an extra week or an extra few days till it came
yeah, because it
out.
wouldn't air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I just have to touch on 90210.
Oh, yes.
We're not worthy. Like when I watch that show now, because thank God there is this wonderful app and it's free for anything. It's called Pluto TV. It is amazing. It has so many awesome movies. They rotate every so often, but some of them stay. They
Yeah.
have a Beverly Hills 90210 channel. A channel
Wow.
run. Now, personally, this is just me cracking at this. I personally only care for the Brenda years and then some of the college because Valerie's in it, and that's Tiffany Amber Thiessen. She was like the babe of the 90s. We can't go
Mm,
talking about the 90s without Tiffany Amber Thiessen. She is a freaking
yeah.
mega babe. Right? Pluto TV is bomb. Do you? Okay, now I have
And
80s channel favorited. So 80s movies channel, and I have 90210 favorite, and I have Dog the Bounty Hunter favorite. And sometimes Judge Judy. For some reason, Judge Judy doesn't always like me. But those are my go-tos.
you know what? I watched 90210 because I wanted to. Um, but not many of my guy friends were watching it
No,
at the time, I'll tell you that. But
no.
that's okay. But yes, the TV guide. Okay, everyone from the '90s definitely did this. They would circle the things that they were gonna watch
I
in the TV guide so that they wouldn't forget.
I had
You
a
know?
highlighter, and like highlighter, like the freaking Seinfeld episode where he's on the train with Elaine. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
highlighter because I didn't get the TV guide. I got the free paper that told you what the cable shows were on. I remember doing like, okay, Legend of Billie Jean's gonna be on this time, Heather's is on this channel, and okay, Ferris Bueller's on this channel. Like I had it all synced, and if I couldn't get my hands on it, if my mom wanted it, I wrote it down separately on a nice sheet of paper, going Tuesday, 3 o'clock. Steel Magnolia. You know, now I like keep it on my wall because I was so into movies. I just couldn't I couldn't miss a good movie. It
Yeah.
was more important to me than hanging out with my stupid friends. They're like, let's go get in the club for what? What the fuck? You want to find some older guy that's gonna take advantage of you? Okay, great. Goodbye.
I do remember the cable box, the black box,
Ah,
yes.
yes.
Ah, yeah.
Scrambling the HBO porn, like the real sex stuff.
And in order to watch your VCR or DVD player or your game system, you had to put it on channel 3.
Mhm.
It was, like, the only way it worked for some reason.
Similar.
Um,
I could just watch it. We didn't
you know?
have HBO all the time, so I could just like watch it through the. It was so easy because at the time it wasn't like. It was like you could see it through the color bars.
Right, yeah.
It was like bomb, I was like, I can totally see that nipple. Oh, she's okay.
Yeah. What other '90s things, was different back then?
Channel paper.
Well, like, we didn't have cell phones to just,
No.
like, to do whatever on and the cell phones you did have, if you were texting someone, which texting wasn't a big thing, you had to press you had to really want that letter because because you have to press each number at least 3 times to get,
The letter.
whatever letter, and if you messed it up, you had to start all over again. Um,
And it cost you
you know?
way extra for text message. It was like a dollar something for a text message to have that sent.
Right, yeah.
Motorola pager, the
You had a pager, I
paper
never had a pager, but,
and blockbusters. Oh my gosh, this is
ah,
like it was such a different time. And I know everybody from the past always says that, but it's so true. Like
it really is, yeah.
it's just how it goes. Be kind, rewind. Exactly. I used to work at a video store. It was one of the best jobs ever because I got paid to watch movies. And if I had to check people out every now and then, okay, great. Even if it was busy, it was still cool.
Yeah.
Rewind.
And I mean, Blockbuster, I would now this was like maybe
Oh,
more in the 2000s a little bit, but I would go to Blockbuster and I would find movies I've never heard of before on that they were selling,
mhm.
and they'd be like $5. So I'd buy it, go home. That's how I discovered Saw. That's how I discovered a few movies. But sometimes you get movies and you buy them and you get home and you put them in and you be like, this was a terrible movie, but I only spent like $4, so I don't really care. Uh,
Game. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can rent the.
yes, you could. Oh, I remember having sleepovers with friends and being like, "Oh, we're gonna rent this game console and a couple games for the weekend," and just, you know, play video games or watch movies all weekend long. It was always the best.
Yeah.
Always the best
That was the
sleepovers.
thing to do is that you either went to the movies or you rented a movie or you were at the mall. That was the things that you did between the late 80s and the 90s. I think the mall was always the 80s, but still, like,
Yeah.
that's what you did,
Yeah.
or you just
Yeah.
walked around or you had a bike and you biked around. Like, you didn't get fucking Uber. Taxis were dangerous if you were a young kid. It was just like, it was just,
You had to use payphones,
oh
a
my
quarter a
God,
call,
payphone.
and some payphones you'd have to keep pumping money into it if you wanted to keep talking. It would only be like X amount of
It was
time.
like, yeah, enter more money if you like. You want to continue this. Yeah, they'd tell you you'd have to get like all your quarters, and there would be like $1 per call or 50 cents. Like, it depends on where you were and what you were doing. If it was a local call, you would call up information 411. I
Yeah.
need to find a number. Da 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 da. And phone books. Do you remember phone books? There was also
Phone books, yes. The thick ass. Oh my god,
like
those
had a
things.
crush and you looked up their parents' name. It's like, okay, yeah, they live on that street. Oh my God, that's their number.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like all this stuff. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes. Now it's terrible.
Just make
Yeah.
up silly names in the phone book. And back then, you'd be able to prank phone call people because at first there was no, ID description of the number that was calling you until the Vista phones came out. Then that was a game changer. You could see the numbers calling or call waiting. Beep beep. Oh, I got another call. Hold on.
Right. Oh my gosh, there's just it's so different. I mean, even the summers felt different. The winters were more wintry. The summers were more summery instead of humid and nasty
Yeah.
tornadoes now and fucking all this crazy shit's going on. And just give me my like 90s summer back.
Right. Yes.
It just feels so different anymore. And this world is just not in a good place. Like, any way you slice it, it is not in a good place.
Yeah.
But hopefully our podcast brings you to a nice place.
Woohoo! I'm trying to think of other. Remember party lines? I somewhat do. I never really use party lines that much, but
Sounds familiar. Was that like a call service?
it was
Yeah.
like I think it was a way for you to like call multiple people at once. Yeah, like you could have like a group of friends all talking at the same time on the phone.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if this was everyone, but in the '90s, like I would hang out with my girlfriend all day, and then when I went home, I'd call her and talk to her on the phone all night. My parents would be like, "Get out the phone! You're just there."
Yes, it was like, and the portable phones that you'd have to put on the charger.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, the phone's about to die. I need to go get the cord
But
phone."
please,
And the cord would be so long you could walk around the whole room with it.
oh,
But
oh,
but then when you hung it up, it's all stretched out all over the
oh,
floor.
that's the cord phones. Yeah, I'm talking about the cord
Yeah, yeah.
phones. Yeah, but those, oh my God, they like that part in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids where the girl's talking on the phone and she's like, okay, bye. And then she's like actually tied up she's like entangled
Yeah.
in the phone cord. That is what it was. And
Yeah.
oh my God. But that's when before all of this like social media, you actually wanted to just even hear that person breathe. It still meant something that they were there.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, whatever. It's like it loses so much just purpose. Hello,
Yeah,
love.
absolutely.
How are you? So yeah,
Oh, the good old landlines. I mean, they still have them, but not many people use them anymore.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
much.
their time is almost completely up, but
Yay, that's great.
yeah.
You are good. Do you have anything to contribute to our 90s?
Anything from the '90s that you miss or people the youth of today would have no idea. Um Like, geez, I mean, I don't know if this is really '90s or not, but rotary phones, I mean, my grandparents still had one at least up until '95.
Yeah, it's definitely an older thing, but yeah, that was still a thing. You still had to. beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Oh yeah.
well, I mean, that's just what it was. And I remember one in my kitchen where it was on the wall and it was like the one where it had like, the hook end or whatever it is. And then you'd hang on to it. And then they had that curly, like spiral, you just like jump rope with it, that, that cord. Automatic seatbelts. And then there was this thing called
Yeah.
America's Funniest Videos that was huge in the 90s. And then it
It
had
was Bob Saget
Bob
was the host. Yeah.
so huge in the 90s because of Full House. That was the big 90s production thing going on there.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so many elements to it. I mean, Tupac, he was so big in the 90s. He was murdered in the 90s. The whole thing with Biggie. His albums were just amazing. His movies were even better. I mean, I'm not better than his music, but he was just such a natural born performer. So I have to at
Yeah.
least mention him once because I absolutely love him. Empire Records in the 90s, that was a great movie. There's so many great elements to the 90s that get just pushed on the wayside. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, Jim Carrey was huge,
Yes, he was huge. Yeah.
huge. Ace Ventura, 1 and 2, Dumb and Dumber, like the list goes
Yeah.
everything. Like
The Mask. Yeah. Friggin'
he was Mr. 90s. If you really do look back at it, he was. So
yeah.
they had MTV where it actually had music sometimes, and VH1 where they showed music videos in the top 10, top 20, hottest
Yeah.
or
Or
whatever.
the request.
Total
Like
Request Live
we
played.
had much music in Canada. It's basically the same thing, but they would have request hour, and you could call in, you could send in a letter, you could email.
Yeah,
Um,
all that stuff,
yeah.
man. It's such a crazy like and when the 90s went out, like
The Carson Daly Show.
yes, and when like, the 90s, like dipped out
Ricky Lake.
like the baggy pants fashion, and it went more into like the 00, like the 2000s. You got more shiny, you got more cropped, you got more tight, you got more higher heels, like
Yeah.
how it was.
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, it was
Remember exhaust jeans? And
exhaust,
everyone was trying to get like the biggest
like
pair of exhaust
really,
jeans as they
really
possibly
wide
could.
legs.
Really wide legs. Yeah.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yes, especially on a rainy day, you'd soak up all that water and you just have it up to your ass.
Oh, it'd be right up to your knees almost.
Oh God.
Uh,
Cars,
Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer. Yeah. Yeah. The Maury Povich Show.
Oh God. And then, Judge Judy, of course. My mom would watch her and then
Matt, do you remember Sue in the Sunday Night Sex Show?
no, what was that on?
Oh, she was like a sex doctor, and she would show toys on the show and show you how to use them, and she would have people that call in asking questions, sex questions about a partner or whatever, and she would explain how to do things like if a girl didn't know how to she would explain how to do that and all this stuff. Oh my god, the show was hilarious.
Well, I gotta look that up.
Because
I need
being a teenager, you're like, oh, you fat, it was funny because nothing else on TV like that.
for
So,
Dr. Ruth.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
wow.
yeah, more. He's not the father. Yeah,
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how everything has changed, and now kids don't like. Can I go over so and so's house? And it's like, oh, how fine. Your parents got pissed off. How far is it? They drive you, or they'd have birthday parties at a bowling alley or some kind of like fun center. Kids don't do that anymore. Not that I've seen. I mean, as I get older, they just kind of hang out and FaceTime. Oh, it's your birthday. Here, I'll send you some like money on Cash App. Like it's just so different. Kids don't
yeah,
hang out the way that we used to hang out. Like we actually
yeah,
meet up and like walk
absolutely.
around, fuck around in the, playground and throw the
We
the
we go hang out in the woods for hours and
that
like
everything. Like we would just
stuff like that.
explore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
much different
we
now.
go outside. It's crazy. Discovery Zone, yes. Malls are going extinct. They are. That was
Definitely
and
too much online shopping these days.
and a lot of stores themselves are just bankrupt and going downhill.
And I remember right around Christmas time, you get the Sears wish list
Oh my
Christmas
god,
catalog.
look!
Oh
And
yes.
then the
Oh yeah.
JCPenney
When you got
catalog
that in the mail, you were like, yes, I can't wait to see what they got.
the JCPenney catalog that was like this thick and it had like toys and it had everything you wanted. Houseware, toys, bras, socks, pots. Like it had everything.
And as a young, teenager at like 13, you'd definitely be checking out that bra section and be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Simpsons, that was huge in the 90s. Huge.
Yeah.
They actually made a musical album. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had
Do the Bartman.
so awesome sleeping bags. Yeah.
Awesome sleeping bags.
That's
Oh yeah.
use them for sleepovers and stuff, but nobody does sleepovers anymore. It's like so weird. Everyone has their own.
Not like they used to.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, those were the days. There's so many things that
so many things. And if
isn't the same at all these days. Like,
you have forgotten any, please let us know in the comments. I would love to know what
yeah,
we have forgotten. It's always good to see things go, oh my gosh, yeah. But that's one of the beauteous things of the internet. You get to see old things that you're like, okay, that was not my imagination, that was real, love it.
yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah, absolutely. You know, um, yeah. I don't know. Are we done? Well, it's
We can be done, and we've been on for 31 minutes.
yeah, it's been 30 minutes now.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, please leave uh anything that we missed in the comments so that maybe we can address it on another live.
Brita waterfill.
The Brita water fillers. Oh yes, yeah.
Well,
Take an hour to fill one glass. Yeah, I think it
you
was.
can rewatch this. It'll be uploaded again to YouTube. It may take like
Yes.
until tomorrow to get up, but it'll be back up. And
Yeah.
we're just dishing about the 90s and the style and the music and the movies and the TV shows.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, what were some
the
like
hearts.
for the new people? What were some of your favorite '90s things?
Yes. Okay.
You'll catch the replay. Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Um,
But thank you everyone that joined and watched
yeah,
their videos. We have tons of them. I worked really hard in editing them. So if you could just give your appreciation, and if it's not your thing, I totally understand, but much appreciated if you could.
yeah. Send us some comments. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Hit the notification bell
We're gonna be
and subscribe.
live shows every Monday around 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So figure out where you are and then join us. I'll
Yes.
I don't know who did it, but I'll try and fix it. I didn't see that time, but I will try and fix it. Yeah, so we have tons of movies and TV shows and everything and music that we've already reviewed. So go watch those and hope to see you.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Bye.